Hello, my name is Robert, and we're back with another edition of Sports Center on ESPN. Today, we're going to look a little deeper into sports and what the sports world actually entails, rather than just the entertainment and competitive aspect of it. To do this, we're going to hear from the fanatics about the holistic perspective of sports. Now I'm going to pass it over to my partner Bill as he's going to interview Jason from the Fanatics.
Thanks, Robert. Hello, my name is Bill, and I'm here with Jason from the Fanatics to discover some of the important underlying aspects of sports people fail to realize.
Hey Bill, thanks for having me on the show.
Of course. So Jason, please share with us what the Fanatics have been doing lately.
Yeah, so as sports fanatics ourselves, we want to present what we know about the side of sports that many people fail to realize, sports as a business. Looking at the business side of sports will give fans a much more holistic view, which can be helpful when putting things into perspective about why certain leagues and teams do what they do.
So you believe that if sports fans can learn more about this, it will allow them to develop a greater appreciation for the sports that they already love?
Yep, that's correct. And to do this, we're going to look at three things: the American professional sports industry as a whole, a specific organization to see what they do, and how the sports industry maintains their prominence in today's dynamic environment.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jason. And now I'm going to pass it off to your colleague, Alex, to hear a little bit more about the American professional sports industry.
Hi, I'm Alex, and also part of the Fanatics. We're now going to look at the American professional sports industry and some of the major drivers for competition and success between different industries. To start, America has what's called the Big Four sports programs, which consist of football, the NFL, baseball, the MLB, basketball, the NBA, and finally hockey, the NHL. These four leagues make up a majority of the market share of the American professional sports industry. To break down these leagues, we're going to look at the revenues they draw in, which leagues are the highest paying, and some of the major teams in each. As this image shows, professional sports leagues get a majority of their revenues from four different sources: media rights, sponsorships, gate revenues, and merchandise. Leagues and teams each compete with each other in all four of these categories to bring in as much revenue as possible. And now we're going to move on into looking at different teams. Each league is composed of different organizations. Each organization competes with each other on and off the field in order to be successful. Look at this graphic to see some of the top teams in each respective sport. When looking at each league's top programs, there are many similarities in what thriving teams have, such as large fan bases, prominent popular cities, and having success on the field. Finally, we are going to look at how each respective league pays their players. The picture above shows each league's average salary and highest paid player. Some major things to keep in mind when looking at this is how popular the sport is, the salary caps in sports, and the size of teams. For example, the NFL is currently the most popular sport in America, but because they have a 53-man roster and a salary cap, the average salary is not as high as basketball or baseball because of the restrictions which come along with the salary cap and roster size. And now, I'm going to let Neil show an analysis of a single prominent thriving sports franchise in one of the big sports in America.
Thanks, Alex. Today we'll be taking an in-depth look at one of the biggest and most recognizable teams in the U.S., the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are an NFL team in the National Football Conference East Division, better known as the NFC East. They've made 8 Super Bowl appearances in their history, the second most by any NFL team, and have won the Super Bowl 5 times. They play at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, and their owner is Jerry Jones. They're commonly referred to as America's Team, a nickname they earned back in 1978 from the famous sports broadcaster John Ascenda. They stand for helping those who don't have a means to help themselves. The team has a variety of aid programs and community service efforts, and work to support youth programs, the Salvation Army, and the military. They also place importance on community leadership because, as the largest sports organization in the U.S., the Cowboys feel obligated to give back to the American people. But when we look at the sports industry, we can't just look at the Cowboys. To get the big picture, we need to look at their external and internal environment. To look at the external environment, we'll use Porter's 5 forces to look at the specific environment. First off, there's the threat of new entrants. This is always present. Expansion teams in the NFL are a possibility in the future, and teams can move from one city to another if they choose. This means teams have always got to be on their toes. Next, the threat of substitutes. The other 3 big sports in the U.S., basketball, baseball, and hockey, are in a constant battle for sports fan attention, making it super important for games to be entertaining. Other entertainment outlets like cinema or music can also serve to draw away consumer interest. When it comes to competition, rivalry is huge. NFL teams, including the Cowboys, work around the clock to get ahead of their competition, which creates high barriers to entry. As for consumers, they have lots of power in this industry. Switching costs are relatively low when it comes to TV viewing, and because of this, teams must take their fan base into account. Last but not least, we've got suppliers, who, thanks to the growing trend of streaming things, have become more diverse. Traditional TV providers have seen their ratings decrease as some consumers have begun to use different platforms like NFL Mobile or MLB Pass to watch games on laptops, tablets, and mobile phones. Now that we've got the outside scoop, let's talk internally. When we talk internal analysis, we've got to talk resource and capabilities because those are crucial for creating a competitive advantage. Sports teams have tons of resources. Under tangible resources, we've got physical and financial, and for intangible, we've got human, technological, and organizational. All these resources, when used together in the right way, can generate capabilities, which in turn help make competitive advantages. Three of the Cowboys' biggest capabilities are providing consistently high-quality entertainment, improving the community by giving back, and encouraging people to include physical activity in their daily routines through initiatives like Play 60 and other sports camps. Now, I'll hand it off to my colleague Zach.
Hi, I'm Zach Stein as a part of the Fanatics, and this is our version of SportsCenter's Top 10, the Fanatic 4. We are going to be talking about what we think the top 4 innovations are in sports. Leading us off at the number 4 spot, we have data analytics. Not everyone's favorite topic, but essential in sports nonetheless. Data analytics help organizations gain a competitive advantage on the playing field. Many of you may have heard of the movie Moneyball, which is based on the premise of the introduction to data analytics in sports. Data analytics also adds value because it allows for teams to continually improve gameplay, which creates a greater satisfaction for customers. Next, coming in at the number 3 spot, we have something we've all used before, headsets. Because communication is so crucial to every sport, headsets have created an easy means of communication. For example, in the NFL, one player on each side of the field is allowed to have a microphone in their helmet to be able to talk to coaches on the sidelines. Although this is the only instance where coaches can use microphones to communicate with the players in the game, all major sports use headphones to communicate to refine their play style and succeed. At the number 2 spot, we have a very strong innovation everybody knows very well, instant replay. Instant replays aren't just great for reliving some of the greatest sporting events, but have also become a crucial aspect to sports themselves. Sports like football and basketball allow refs to use replay to officially review important parts of the game in order to make sure they make the right decisions. Last and certainly not least, coming in at the number 1 spot, the LeBron James of innovations, TV broadcasting. TV broadcasting was introduced May 17, 1939. However, today, camera technology has improved and allows for consumers to watch their favorite sporting events in high definition, right in the comfort of their own home. This luxury impacted sports greatly because not all consumers feel the need to go to the live games when they can often get a better view in their own home for much cheaper. That wraps up today's Fanatic Top 4. Thanks for tuning in, and now let's send it back to Robert in the studio. Back to you, Robert.
Well, that wraps up another edition of SportsCenter. Thank you to the Fanatics for joining us, and we'll catch you all at the same time tomorrow.
Replay. Well, that wraps up today's Fantastic Four, Top 4, Fanatic 4, for Mr. Incredible for tuning in. And now let's Studio Robert